Good evening. I'm dgerard and this is Pivot to AI, coming to you Monday to Friday. Today, what if, right? What if the bad guys used AI? That would be pretty scary, huh? Today's story is a report by Antonia Julich at the Cambridge Programme on AI Science and Policy, CASP. God has helped us and so will AI. How the terrorist group Boko Haram uses frontier AI. Oh no, the bad guys have the AI. CASP is an organization whose mission is to produce critty hype, stuff that acts like it's critical of AI, but its real job is to make the AI look super cool and powerful. If the AI can work for terrorists, it can definitely do your TPS reports. Julich went to Nigeria and interviewed former members of the very murderous terrorist group Boko Haram about how the group had used chatbots in 2024 and 2025. Julich says they were hitting the chatbot hard. The 15 interviewees did not use the chatbot themselves. All of this is only stories from these guys about how their senior commanders told them how they used the chatbot. But it's very scary, okay? Serious implications. Quote, terrorist adoption of AI has thus advanced further and more systematically than prior analysis has recognized, making it a present and growing reality that warrants attention from policymakers, security communities, and AI developers. Unquote. Okay, let's say the murderous terrorists are using the chatbot, but she says there the words present reality, not present danger. Is there present danger? What are they using the bot for? Quote, it has aided in attack planning, weapons troubleshooting, and the design of explosive devices, as users have successfully circumvented some safeguards. Unquote. Right, so what actually does that look like? Here's the New York Times covering the report as very serious. Quote, we saw in a movie how motorcycles can jump over bridges. We used AI to learn how to do this. We gave it information like what motorcycles we use and the distance we needed to jump and so on. And it gave us steps on what we have to do. Unquote. Sounds useful? But the New York Times left off the punchline. What happened next? Quote, we dug holes and filled them with broken glass and fire to practice. 18 of us died in the process. 8 of us managed to do it. Unquote. The chatbot's advice killed 2/3 of them. A chatbot took out 18 terrorists without firing a shot. Why did the bot suggest practicing with a flaming pit full of broken glass? Because they got the AI to tell them this by asking for script ideas for an action movie. That was their jailbreak. They could have filled the pits with, water for practice. But no, the bot said fire and glass, so they used fire and glass. I can appreciate the researcher not saying to the murderous terrorists' faces, that's really dumb. But that's really dumb. At this point, I'm wondering if the terrorists were having a lend of the researcher. I expect it gets boring out there between strikes. You've got to have your fun, Leaping a fire pit is literally the example the New York Times uses to make the chatbot sound dangerous. And they go straight from this very dumb story to calling chatbots digital nuclear weapons. Right. What Boko Haram does is just use the chatbot as a fancy search engine. Quote, when ISWAP fighters were handed out new guns and they did not know how to correctly use them, they approached their Qaid, who passed on the message to a specialist, who in turn replied, just ask Grok, which they then did. Unquote. Using Grok sounds like a win for their opponents. So, is AI making Boko Haram more dangerous than other training methods they have access to would have? Well, we can't actually say that. Quote, these perceptions and revealed preferences indicate uplift, though it is important to note that it cannot be conclusively determined. Unquote. Oh, can't it? You've just admitted your 93-page report doesn't show that anything happened. Quote, but the perception itself matters, since the belief that AI improves performance drives institutional investment and potentially the pursuit of higher risk capabilities. Unquote. They're saying that the real threat is thinking the AI works. That sounds like we can fight terrorism by telling people that AI is lying trash. Let's be clear what happened here. Boko Haram used chatbots that had read the whole internet and answered questions for them. It was a search engine. It was reading existing information. That's a sort of threat, but so is reading in general. If they have chatbots, they have internet. The load-bearing threat here is Boko Haram's disregard for their own members' lives. I'm pretty sure that's what makes Boko Haram such a serious threat. Not one bit of the problem here is about AI. That is just CASP's hook to make the report sound scary. You definitely need to fund CASP doing more research into how scary the AI is. Lack of funding. That's the real terrorist threat. Thanks for tuning in to Pivot to AI, and huge thanks to Amoeba Girl for spotting this one. Please do send this episode to the armchair geopolitics dude in your life. Hit like and subscribe on YouTube. Leave a nice review in your podcast app. And Pivot to AI runs on the support of you, the viewers and listeners. Drop your $5 into the Patreon in the show notes. That keeps all of this running. Thank you all. I'll see you tomorrow, and bye for now.